Sutton's made the move. Sutton flicking it into Larson. Larson edge of the box, tries to play it into Hudson. Larson's got a chance here. Larson! Goal! 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 Henrik Larsson scores! It's a goal! Still big 1-10. They are 1-0. They've got the goal. His name is Henrik Larsson. The centuries on pass for no more than your breath.
Hello and welcome to the first Rhebel Phodcast episode of season 2012-2013, coming to you from the Balcony of Freedom on this Wednesday evening in Melbourne, Australia. My name is Prefontaine, and as always I'm joined by my co-host and my nephew rather. God, I just made the... That's what everyone else says. No, I'm always correcting them. My nephew, Callum, how are you this evening?
Good, Pre. How are you going?
I'm good. Well, how can you not be good? I mean,
exactly right. What a result this morning, eh?
Fantastic. 2-0. Didn't see it coming.
No, not at all.
I set my alarm for 4:45.
45.
What time did you set yours for?
4:45.
Ah.
You slept in for like a minute.
Ah.
No, you slept in for 2 minutes, and I slept in for a minute.
Right.
And as soon as I turned on the TV,
yeah,
there was a glorious cross from Samaras to the back post to Chris Tommins, and he's just knocked it in.
See, I've heard you go, yes! And that woke me up. And I thought for some reason, because you're talking to sleep. And I thought, oh, there's Callum going again, yelling in his sleep and stuff. Rah, 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 rah. And, but I thought, no, that's kind of loud because you're upstairs and I was downstairs. And I thought, no, something's up here. Then you've gone again, hey, wake up.
Yep.
Game starter up 1-0.
Exactly right.
And I sort of lay there for like 10 seconds in this blissful sort of smile. I sort of, my eyes shut with a big smile on my face. And I thought, no, I better get up now and go and watch the game.
That was brilliant.
And so let's talk about the game today. First 10 minutes, I thought we played really well.
Yeah, so we controlled the game and we kind of took it at them. The dream start of any game, especially away in Europe, is to score a goal in the first 2 minutes. And then after that we kind of piled on the pressure, but after the first kind of 10 minutes we kind of struggled a little bit for around the half. It looked like a little bit. We just couldn't hold the ball, and it was like we didn't really have a holding midfielder, and for all the chances they had, I mean, they didn't really get close for any of their chances, really, in the end. No. I mean, we had two hit the bar and the post. Yeah. Whereas none of theirs really forced at all, even the one-on-ones. It just sort of, those away matches in Europe where you all of a sudden you're just under the cosh, and it's really, when I think about this all the time, and I'm always struggling to try and explain it. Again, when you watch a game against just a run-of-the-mill clubs in the SVL, you're never really that nervous about it, are you? Sort of, even if it's an away match, you sort of, you think that eventually we'll score, and there might be some days where we don't, and we don't win, and that's sort of, but you're not. But European away games, it's like, it's something bizarre about it. It's a weird-looking stadium you've never seen before. You're playing against players you've never heard of. Crazy shit's going on. Players are, like Matthews when he tried to make that clearance and he slapped the ball on top of him. All these kind of things are happening, and it's all these I was having all these flashbacks of all past European games, like Magnus Hedman completely missing the ball, which was that cross by whoever from Bayern Munich, and it goes in the back of the net, and it's 2-1, and this strange things happen in European games away from home. And I thought, oh, God, here we go again. Oh, it was amazing we scored. This is brilliant. And then all of a sudden, after the sort of 10, 15 minutes, they just started to sort of get a grip of the game. And then as the game wore on, we just started to make these stupid mistakes, and the defence was at 6s and 7s. And I don't actually blame the defence as much as it probably seemed like they were making a lot of stuff. I don't think they played that well. But the midfield were helpful. Brownie wasn't fit. No, he was. I didn't even know he was playing. Honest, like he was nowhere near the ball really. No, we missed Wanyama. Well, Kyle wasn't fit. Kyle went off with an injury with his ankle supposedly. So. Right. Okay. Yeah. And Kyle was a yard off the pace. You know how Birham. One of the great things about Birham is, and we'll need him at his fittest during this potential Champions League campaign if we make it through. His dogged, harassing midfield was just absolutely like just this bundle of energy that closes players down, forces them to play not the easy ball. Look, nothing worse than just watching like sort of the Spanish sides and just sit off them and let them just easily just pass the ball through your midfield. Yeah. He's the kind of guy that disrupts that, and he wasn't doing that today. You could just tell he was a yard off. And him or Brownie, really. Yeah.
And then it's really hard when you got Joe Ledley doing the work of two other guys. It's going to be pretty hard.
And that's a fair point, because I was then going to say Joe had an off night this morning. It doesn't make sense, but he had an off morning this morning. And I'm not blaming the bloke for it, because he's been fantastic for us. But he didn't have a great game today.
It was interesting. I was talking about this the other day. The Real Madrid game, I must admit, I didn't watch. I watched the first half and could not stand it because, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we got Santana in Australia and the picture was terrible, and the commentator did not know one Celtic player. It's like playing FIFA, and they know one player, and it's always like Samaras.
Yeah.
There's no Samaras.
Yeah.
So they didn't say anything for the entire game.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating to listen to him. But I was looking at that game going, this is a really good game. Only because, I'm not sure how we played, because it was really difficult to see the teams as well, because they're playing in the both traditional strips.
Yep.
But it was only 2-0 in the end, and there was a lot of pressure heaped on the defence. It was kind of a good practice run. That's what I was thinking during the game. I was like, this is a really good practice run for European away games, because all you need to do is sit tight, get compact, hold the obstruction, and make sure we don't concede. And I thought it was kind of a good practice for it. As well as, I wrote this down, we haven't lost in the last 4 away games.
Yep. And
you talk about, like away games, everyone's a bit more nervous. And part of that is the press and saying we haven't won the last, 33 away, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We've lost 5 games in 35 matches or something at home.
Yeah.
In European away games.
Yeah.
In European games.
Yeah.
We've now not lost in 4 away games. This is a really good kind of run we're going at the moment, and we should be confident. The team is confident. The team, knows how to win, and that's pretty evident, and knows how to score late goals from obviously the Ross County game.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a good feeling around the game, around the squad and the management. And they've all got a pretty specific goal they have to reach, and that's to try and make the Champions League. And I think even though we were pretty lucky to some extent during the game, we didn't really look like. I don't know, they first didn't look like they were going to score. And it just felt like it was going to be like our game today. After the first, probably the first one-on-ones, where Forster put off some ripper saves.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like, we'll probably win this game. And in the end, we probably should have been a bit greedy here, but we probably should have scored two extra goals, really.
Well, that's the bizarre thing, that we've, for so many sort of European campaigns, we've had those games where we've played really well away from home, but have just got done by a sucker punch, like the Juventus game when that guy got the penalty and sort of against Yusuf Hire, and I'm going a fair way back here, 2000, but or the Bayern Munich game, or the Lyon game when Bobo handballed and knocked us out of
the Man United game when we were winning 1-0, 1-2, 2-1, and lost 3-2 in the end at Old Trafford.
Yeah. There's so many times where we've been, the Barcelona game, we're up, Barry Robson scored and Chrissy Sutton scored, I think, and we're up 2-1 there, and we lost 3-2, maybe 4-2, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it could have been 4-2 in the end. Didn't Henrik score in the end that game?
I'm not sure if he played that game. He might have, yeah.
He came off the bench one game and scored against us.
Yeah. So there's plenty of examples there. You could probably write a bloody article about it. And I sort of noticed on Twitter a lot of guys saying, well, I'll take that because of what's happened in the past. But there's a sense of maturity about this side, which isn't funny to say because they're such a young team. But they played both the Helsinki game away from home and this game in Helsingborg were those type of games that teams should play in European football away from home, where they absorb all the pressure. Okay, they ride their luck a bit, but fuck it, that's how sport goes, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You ride your luck. And in the second half, sort of from the 60th minute on, the game just started to slightly turn.
Yeah.
They were... kind of seemed like they were never going to score because they just were just...
And they were also chasing the game. They just try and score as well, so that kind of opened up.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, up pops, Sammy
and Forrest.
Yeah, Sammy scores. Forrest, should score. Sammy should square the ball to Commons. There's another goal. Joe Ledley hit the
bar.
The bar. And in fact, if he'd probably left that, Ronnie was right behind him, and he was sort of coming with a bit of pace, and I think he could have got... Joe really had to kind of, flick the head to get a bit of speed on the ball to sort of... And had a bit of a loop on it, whereas Ronnie might have sort of been able to sort of... Drill it right in. So there were plenty of examples of where we really could have actually...
Yeah. It would have been game over, wouldn't it?
It could have been a 4-4 draw. I'd say those 4 got away goals. But it was, as I said, it was just a good performance that we need to start playing away from home. But they're going to have to defend a whole lot better when they're playing against better teams.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, when you play against better teams, you kind of defend a bit better and all that type of stuff happens. I read an article today that said, now there's 2 articles on the Glasgow Herald, and one of them said, Charlie didn't play probably the best game he's ever played, but I thought he was quite composed. I thought he was probably our best defender. I think he was quite composed. There was probably one instance where he fucked up, but
when he left that ball through to Ronya and he handballed it.
But you do feel a lot better when guys like Charlie Mulgrew, who can actually pass the ball out of defence, are playing, because especially in Europe, the one thing you need to do is hold the ball. Even when you're under pressure, you know, it might take us 10 minutes to get the ball back, and some things that Soik always do is we just manage to keep the ball away in the first bit of pressure, or you know, there could be an increase in the intensity of the game, and we just fuck it up. So guys like having even Rognow's quite good at, you know, passing the ball out from defence. Yeah. Passing to the next line of, you know, the Kyle or Brown or, you know, Lily, whoever. Yeah. That's really important as well, and that's probably the one disappointment today with Hooper, we didn't hold the ball out that well. Obviously, he's still struggling a little bit, but that's the one thing we need to do a hell of a lot better, because you just get we'll become exhausted by the end of the game, and that's when more mistakes happen as well. Yeah.
Do you think Neil Lennon had a good game this morning?
Well, his substitutions were pretty good, weren't they? Well, Forrest was perfect substitution, because he played quite well. And then obviously not much option putting Mulgrew in the middle, but that was in the end, but that was actually a good move as well. So, do
you think?
And Tony Watt kind of came on and made a bit of an impact.
Do you think James Forrest will ever grow a neck, or
probably not? Only facial hair.
Or facial hair.
Or he can't run. Oh, he puts his head down and runs. That's how you run, but that's how he runs.
But remember when we watched him, the team warming up at Olympic Park in Melbourne when they were out for the pre-season last year, and he had a bit of an injury, so he wasn't actually doing any of the sort of physical stuff. So he was just running laps around the running track at Olympic Park. Is he the worst runner you've ever seen in your life?
He actually wasn't running.
No. I could walk quicker than that. And I was getting frustrated after a while, because he was going, we were there for about an hour, he was going around. At one point I was going, honestly, Forrest, fair income. Pull the figure out, mate. You are fucking kidding yourself. That's not running.
But I must admit,
I can shit quicker than that.
He does look in particular a lot fitter. And I don't know, something to do with Scotland, and I don't know how they start, because everyone just assumes that they should start slow. Yeah. Like in the AFL, your pre-season is the hardest thing you'll ever do. Yeah. To get fit from get-go. Yeah. And it seems like, I don't know, Scotland's like 10 years behind all this type of stuff. Like,
yeah, the conditioning.
Yeah, the conditioning. Well, last year was terrible. Obviously, the flights to Australia didn't help, but the guys look a lot fitter, I think, and a lot sharper as well. Which you have to be, you know, because these games are tricky. These European, weight leagues and stuff. So the whole point of starting the season earlier is to be able to get through these away leagues, and hopefully it kind of pays off.
I mean,
next week.
If those that run Scottish football had any sense, you'd do what they do in Northern. Scotland should treat their league like they do in Northern Europe, like Scandinavia. Their season should be a summer sport. Having said that, the weather in summer's pish as well. I know. I was just there. There was 2 days where it didn't frickin' rain, but still, it's
it's better than.
Actually, now I think about it, completely out of my mind. I don't know when the hell it's better than snow.
It's better than when I went and didn't see any games.
Yeah, exactly. So they should do that. One, because you'll get more games. Two, I think it's better. It's just a better climate for the fans. It's great going to an evening game, and you walk out of the stadium. It's pretty much still light.
It's bloody good for us as well.
Great for us
because it's at 9:15, which is perfect.
I know. Brilliant for us. Not so good for America, I think. But anyway, and it means that when the European season starts, our teams are ready to go.
Exactly right.
But that's a good idea, and that would never be considered by the Scottish Football Association
because it's common sense.
That's right. So, what's your predictions for the return leg?
A win.
Can you see Helsingborgs scoring 3 passes?
I can't, but I just don't want Goyan. Is it Goyan? I don't want Goyan to score. The ex-Rangers bloke. Yeah. Anyone but him.
Is it Boyan or Goyan?
I don't know, some stupid fucking name.
Right.
But it was funny because on a Twitter today, I read someone said because Goyan, whoever he said was he was going to do it for all the Rangers fans in the world. He was going to knock us out, just him personally, no one else in the team.
Right. Okay.
And the tweet went along the lines of something like, Craig White said Craig White told us he had the millions. something else happened, and this guy has now said that they're going to knock Celtic out of the Champions League. Do we sense a pattern here?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was so look. Should we look?
Oh yeah, no, it was Jelic said that they're going to win the league.
Yeah.
Craig White promised millions.
Yeah.
And so and so said that. Yeah.
Look, it should be a packed house. There's no excuse for not to be packed out. And, And I think once the team settle in and maybe score an early goal or but I can't imagine this team perform any better at Parkhead. I thought we'd just a bit of a stronger defensive effort and play a bit more of a more structure of the team and more hopefully less shit balls and keeping the ball a bit better. I think we shouldn't have any problems with the team.
Because we've got Inverness on the weekend on Saturday.
Who do you play? Do you play because obviously there's a couple players.
I'd play the kids.
Because there's too many players that are out injured at the moment.
Like the boys' club, under 15s. I'd get them out there, give them a run.
Be fun for them.
Absolutely, and let the rest of the guys just get some rest. Particularly the guys that came back from Philadelphia with some knocks.
Yeah, well now because Lilley's will be a suspect. Trish Commons came off sore supposedly, so
right.
I know.
Unbelievable.
It's ridiculous. We really need some players.
Yeah. Well, what's his name? Peter. Pull the checkbook out, mate.
That's exactly right.
Why do they play the Champions League theme song and have the friggin' logo on the jerseys and that for this series of games and not for the other qualifiers?
I don't know.
I don't get that. And the second question is, why was there not any sponsorship? Which is great. I thought it was fantastic that Celtic played today without any sponsorship on the jersey.
It must be something to do with the alcohol. It must be something to do with alcohol in Sweden. I'm trying to assume.
But there's Heineken sponsors on the...
They've got their own rules.
On the bollards.
Champions League got their own rules.
Right.
You know what I did like, though? The ball boys. They were, quality.
They were quick, weren't they?
Jeez, they all had balls around the...
They were a bit too quick for my liking at one point.
Well, when Fraser got booked at, the 30th minute...
That was bullshit.
For just kicking the ball.
Half the team wasn't... both sides weren't even in position.
I know. That's when a referee gets affected.
He was a wanker.
But you can tell when he gets affected by the crowd, because they're making a big lot of noise.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And in Australia, we had the ESPN commentators from the US, and it seemed to be that...
And it was in HD. Satanta?
Yeah.
HD.
Oh, yeah, forget about it for me. I've got nothing now, so... the commentators was Shaka Hislop, who sounds drunk when he talks. And some other bloke who was Scottish, who I'd seen on ESPN before when he'd either do the press pass or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I just always assumed Hun.
One of the media.
Yeah. And I would put money on it.
He said we.
Well, no, even before that, remember I said to you, I said, I reckon he's a team because the boys and girls were singing, they were singing the Celtic Symphony.
Yeah.
But you can only just hear it, you know? And it was an early part of the Celtic Symphony, you know? And he said...
controversial part?
No controversial parts. And the Scottish commentator said, the Celtic fans are starting to get into it now. And I thought, that's kind of funny that, one, you can only just hear it until you know that Celtic fan, that means that you've got some sort of knowledge about what we sing. Then what confirmed it for him? Because if it was a Hun, he wouldn't have said that. No, he just would have went, spat on himself or something. Beat up his wife and he went home. Beat up Shaka Hislop because he's black. But instead, he said that. And then later on he goes, we're 2-0 up now. I went, ding, Tim. So I like him.
Yeah. He
should commentate more.
Yeah, but
him and Tommy Smith should commentate together.
Exactly right. He did know his stuff in the end. He actually kind of knew his stuff about Scottish football in particular. So
yeah, and it wasn't... Because you know that when wanker commentators are being given a brief sheet right in front of them, and they just, every now and then the quiet bits, I look down and go, of course, Celtic won the European Cup in 1967. Jeff, does that say 7? Because there's some... I spilled my cup of tea on my notes here. That's 7? Right. 67. Anyway.
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
And Kimmins has got the ball. Cummins?
Now, sorry, Rogne did play against Real Madrid, didn't he?
I was blind. I have no idea.
Well, he did.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He did.
The commentator said, "Oh, it's interesting that Rogne's not playing today," as he touched the ball, and they doubled each other and went, "I'm pretty sure that is him."
Yeah.
Oh, that's how bad it was.
Right, I know. I felt for Helsingborg fans based in Australia or New Zealand watching this game, all four of them, because they never got a mention at any stage. Which is, and only a Celtic supporter would appreciate that. Or only a Celtic supporter outside of Scotland probably would appreciate that because we're so used to having Australian commentators or American commentators or some pissant British commentator who's like syndicated for whatever network you're watching it on, who has got no freaking clue about anything. And particularly if they're oh my God, if Celtic come up against an English team, forget about it.
Don't worry about it.
Forget about it. Forget about it. Like, they're not going to mention this.
No, they do. They mention it at the very start and they say, and there's Celtic in the traditional green and white hoops.
Yeah.
And that's it
for
the rest of the game.
Yeah. Celtic fans, I'll see you later. Yeah, anyway. So what's your predictions for the return leg?
2-0. Hooper and Stokes will come on.
Tony Stokes.
Yeah.
Tony Stokes. Hang on a minute. Stokes wasn't even on the bench, was he?
I think so.
He's injured.
Yeah.
If
he doesn't play, it'll be Tony Watt.
Tony Watt? Tony Watt?
Yeah, so just same song.
Michael Tony? Rightio. I think it will be I think we'll win 1-0.
Okay. That will do me.
No, fucking oath. And bring on the I love the draw.
Yeah.
I love the draw. Is there nothing better than when you're in the Champions League draw?
No, I've been in the draw for 3 years.
Oh, I know.
How good is it saying Champions League?
Oh, I know.
It puts a smile on your face.
It does, doesn't it? I'm agreeing right now. Yeah. I may have half a wood. I may have half a boner. That's how happy I'm about it all.
Which is weird because you're naked right now.
Well, we always do this podcast naked. On the balcony of freedom in winter. It's cold.
It's nice and warm out now. Like,
it's that little
a weird day.
Little northerly kicking off the desert.
What desert?
Well, when in summer we get a northerly, it's freaking hot.
Yeah.
It's because it's hot heat. It's coming from above Melbourne is desert. Like the wind travels a fair way.
Yeah. Obviously.
And we get a southerly. Where's it coming from? It's coming from Antarctica, which is fucking cold. So southerlies are cold, northerlies are warm. Right? Got it? Right.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So I was driving the other day. Now, Dad, stop listening. Because my parents are in America. So I thought I'd take my mum's car out.
For a spin.
I don't have to drive. I don't want to pay petrol.
Yeah.
And we have a number of Celtic number plates in the family.
Yeah.
Out of the 9...
License plates.
Out of the 9 in Victoria, we have 4 of them.
Yes.
Scott McDonald's parents has 1.
Yeah.
And the president of the Jockstein Celtic Supporters Club has the other.
Right.
And there's 3 other ones I don't know.
Is that Mark or
yeah.
Sean?
Sean, I think.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Sean's the president.
So I was driving the car and tried to
hello to the Jockstein boys, by the way.
Chucky. And I was driving just outside my house.
And Pat. Love Pat. Sorry, keep going. I don't know who else. That's unbelievable. Continue. And
I was 3 car lengths from the traffic lights, and on the right hand lane.
Yeah.
And the guy on the left hand lane there was no cars in front of him, so he could have gone all the way up.
Yeah.
And he's obviously seen my license plate.
Uh-huh.
And he stopped.
Oh, I know where this is going.
And he looked at me.
Yeah.
And just gave me the finger. And so I thought maybe I've cut him off.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I've done something wrong beforehand.
Yeah.
So I kind of said what in terms,
yeah.
And he's gone, fuck off, you Fenian B.
Right.
Well,
sorry. Before you continue, why did you feel the need to not censor fuck, but censor bastard? You Fenian B.
Yeah, because people don't like that.
Bastard?
Yeah. They don't like those 2 words together.
Fucking bastard.
No. Fenian.
Oh, Fenian bastard.
Yeah, you said it.
Oh, well, we are Fenian bastards.
I know, but you know when you say E-teams or that type of stuff, they always cover that.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they always do something. I don't know why.
So you thought you did it.
Yeah.
All right, continue on your Fenian
And
bastard.
I was shocked.
Right.
Now, lucky my car, Mum's car, automatically locks its doors. I was shit myself.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was in a shit car.
Oh, so he wasn't even being jocked.
Oh, no, he wasn't funny.
He was fair nicking.
Yeah. He standing there and kept giving me the finger for probably 25 seconds.
Fair nicking?
Yeah.
What a head case. What colour was his car?
So, he drives off.
Right.
And I actually end up following for 3 kilometres because I'm going the same way as he's going.
Yeah.
Now, the Huns don't do irony. We all know that.
No. Or humour.
So this guy had We Are the People sticker on the back.
Piss off.
So it was just a WATP.
Oh.
And it was a Union Jack.
Oh.
But next to it was the Queen. Like a picture of the Queen.
Oh, God.
How good's that?
What a massive ball bag.
Yeah. So when I turned off, I gave him a bit of a honk.
Did you?
Yeah. But I made sure, he wouldn't have been able to hear it, but I put on I put down all the windows.
And you had the revs going.
Yeah, sunroof off. Yeah. Full ball.
God, don't you love it?
Hey.
Buddy.
You never see rain sports in Australia. You never do.
It's rare, isn't it?
I was like, that's really interesting. It was quite funny.
Huh. You got racially vilified on the streets of Melbourne.
Exactly right. I mean, my house is near a Masonic Centre.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've always been threatened to bomb that place.
Yeah, we did.
It's a joke. It's a joke. ASIO, if you're listening, calm down. Right.
But the spray paint did the other week. I'm joking.
It's a Loyal Orange Lodge retirement village. That's what it is. Bizarre.
Odd. It really is odd.
They have an Orange March, but it takes like 5 months. They're also old. Get the strollers down the main street. Do we want to talk about, what do we want to talk about now?
Well, let's talk about your trip, eh?
Let's do that. How are we for time?
We going well.
Okay. Because I know you got your date tonight. And I don't want you to rush things.
I'm not going to rush. This is way more important.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, I hope she's not a Tim listening.
She's on Twitter, so she might know about this.
Okay.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Well, let's talk about, we'll do quickly the some stories and all that type of stuff. So do you want to talk about the Euro qualifier number 1?
Yeah, let's do that. Chuck is my Red Sox hat because I want to put a hat on.
Okay.
Because you've got your Red Sox hat on. Yeah, and I feel inadequate. So obviously by
the way.
Talk to me.
Well, you're in Scotland, yeah?
Not right now, I'm in Melbourne.
You were. And you bought the away strip.
I did.
Now, can you tell me why everyone... was it really hot in Scotland? Tell that story.
Okay, so when I arrived in Scotland, first game I went to was I landed on a Wednesday morning, and the Wednesday night... I flew in from New York, and I landed on a Wednesday morning, and the Wednesday night was the Helsinki home game. And... we had a bit of a nap in the afternoon and then headed up to the stadium with our cousin Sean. Hello, Sean. And that's when I first saw the new away strip, the black one. And I saw one guy and he had his sleeves rolled up, or the sleeve turned up, and the tricolour little band thing there. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool he's done that, It's funny that he did that, but, good on him. And then, but about 20 minutes later, I saw like 50 jerseys, and everyone's doing it. And I was going, right. And and I think it was a game I saw. What was the game?
The Aberdeen game?
No, they were. I saw some highlights of some game, and the players did it as well. What game was that? Can't remember. Anyway, but after the game, I said to my cousin, I said to one of my other cousins, Pat. I said to Pat,
he's a bit of a.
He's unique.
He's a lovely bloke.
He's unique. I said to him, how come they're rolling their sleeves? Well, I've been the dumb Aussie, How come they're rolling their sleeves? Not like that. Is it because it's really hot? I'm trying to cool off a bit. And he looked at me like, are you for real? And I just let it go. And he but he couldn't resist. 10 minutes later in the pub, he goes, you know why they did that, don't you? I said, yeah, it's hot. You stupid bastard.
That's funny. Anyway, good, clean family fun.
It is good, clean family fun. So you went to the
Euro qualifier.
Although I won't talk about the match because everyone's seen it. Everyone's probably it's really old news now. But it was a great night. It was just a great atmosphere. I've been to a couple of other Champions League games. And some supporters will know this. It wasn't the best atmosphere for a Champions League or one of those famous European nights. And in fact, the top deck above the top deck corner of the Jockstein stand actually wasn't. There was seats available. When I was told that day that it was sold out, so
it was about 50,000.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but I mean it was still pretty chockers. The only thing I've noticed though is the corporate seats. The ones that are dark in the main north stand. I think they're heated. Those heated seats, or they're a different shade of green. 50 shades of green. Imagine that going on the stadium. That'd get the fans back. Do that at half time. I lost my train of thought. Those seats, there was a lot of empty seats in there. So obviously, Celtic supporters with a bit of cash aren't getting their season tickets or not turning up. I don't know what the story is there, but that was certainly noticeably more sparse. It wasn't vacant, but there was dots of seats you could see that were a bit empty. Same behind in those corporate seats in the
Seven restaurants.
The Lisbon, the Jock stand.
But look, it was a great night, and it's fantastic going to watching football in Scotland during the daylight savings time because it's just beautiful evenings. And actually, the weather was pretty pish, but that night it sort of cleared itself up, and yeah, it was a good night. And Saturday didn't play that great to start off with, but the second half sort of pulled the finger out and got stuck in, and the fans got behind them. And look, the Green Brigade's brilliant. I mean, they just...
Because you were sitting in them, weren't you?
Yeah, well, the seats that Sean has, it's 2 or 3 bays across from the Green Brigade in the Lisbon Lion stand, and yeah, it was a really good night. But I was pretty shagged. I mean, I'd just flown from New York, and I literally had 20 days on the piss every night. I was saying it before the other day, like when I drink too much and I don't get any sleep, my hands start to peel, and they really started to peel by that stage. I look at my hands and go, fuck. So that was that. Mm-hmm. And then the Thursday night I went out. Thursday was a beautiful day, actually, in Glasgow. And sort of sat in the West End and had just read the paper and just chilled out.
How very posh of you.
Yeah, listened to some music and stuff, and then Sean and I went out that night. Oh my God. What was only a couple of drinks in Ashton Lane got big on us. Like, in the words of Ron Burgundy, that really escalated. Yes, it did. Brick, you killed a guy. We got home at 7 o'clock in the morning. We ended up in some lachi's tenement, in Hindland, which Sean, there was about 5 of us walked in there, and Sean said, "This is a really nice tenement." And she said, "It's not a tenement, it's a tone house." And Sean looked at me and go, "Ooh, la-di-da." So we were in there, and all she had was absinthe and cordial concentrate, which we were mixing that in pints. And Sean had 1, I had about 5. And as they say, I was mad with it, like... And Sean said, "That's all right. I'll set my alarm, and I'll just, I'll get up and walk to work from there." So he's passed out with the cat. So the rest of us all sitting around. The girl that owned the place went to bed. So I'm now sitting around with these strangers. This Bulgarian woman, this South African chick.
Oh, South African.
I know. An English guy and another Scottish bloke from like the East Coast. It was just bizarre. Oh my God, fucking hell. Like 2 nights ago I was in New York City, and now I'm some stranger's house drinking absinthe with cordial, and we're just talking absolute rubbish. I think I actually smoked a cigarette. I didn't even smoke cigarettes, and I thought I wanted to sound cool and winning. I said to the chick, "It was one of them, and I was like bum puffing it, because I can't, I'm fucking hot, wanker. So suffice to say, Friday I was shattered. I got up at like 4 in the afternoon, and my other cousin Brian, who likes to bike ride, I think he was a bit pissed actually that I'd sort of led his son astray. Instead of saying, "Prefontaine, I'm not happy with your performance last night," he said, "Pre, do you want to come for a bike ride?" To which we did. I thought, "Hey, no worries. I'm Australian, I'm super fit," although I had been sort of, not really fit for the last month. Because I've been drinking. We went through a pretty gentle stroll with mountain bikes through the back of Bishopton, Erskine. He blew me off like the first hill, and I struggled for the rest of it. I was like sucking in the big ones, far out. It was awful.
Oh God!
I just did our nation. That was a disservice to our nation. Meanwhile, Australian Olympic teams getting their ass kicked in Olympic Games. I'm getting my ass blown off the fucking road by my fucking cousin. Anyway. So that was Friday night. Saturday we went to the Aberdeen game. Flag Day, and another cracker of a day, actually. Good weather that day. I hate to talk about the weather, but winning in Scotland, it's such an important thing, The psyche of the Scotsman is built around the weather. And
that's so true, Grant. Yeah.
Yeah. When I got back, Mum's first question, "How was the weather?" I went, "Oh, fuck." And I always wanted to lie to her. I said it was brilliant. It was like 35 every day. Don't be stupid. She wanted to know, she wanted to hear that the weather was pish to justify her emigrating to Australia, to Warragul, to a town that it rains all the time. It's the wettest.
It never rains.
Oh, it never rains in Warragul. Even when it rains, when I know it's raining in Warragul, and I'll speak to Mum, she'll say, "What's the weather like down in Melbourne?" I said, "Oh, it's bloody hot down here." Don't be stupid. Oh, bomb, mate, it's hot. So, yeah, who's the weather? And the thing was, her sisters were over there. So Auntie Mary and Auntie Margaret, or whoever, and Thea, they were over there on holiday. And I'd said, "Oh, the weather's pretty good." "Oh, that's not what Mary told me. Mary told me it was pushing down every day." I was like, "Oh, far out." No, well, they're in a different part. Wasn't raining Erskine. Anyway. So, so Flag Day. I don't think we had any beers before the game. No, we didn't. But on the way there, so the other cousins, Charles and Maureen, they were walking past, and I'm going, "Hey, hello."
Yeah,
and they looked at, and Maureen's looking at me like, who the hell are you? Some stranger is yelling out of a car. I'm going, no, me. And she's going, oh. You know, anyway. So I went to the game. The atmosphere was pretty okay. The game was crap.
Yeah, well,
That was a shocking game. Do you watch Doctor Who?
No.
There's some Sheila that came out at halftime for the Paradise Windfall, who she's in Doctor Who.
God, they really scrubbed the
I know.
So many celebrities out there now.
Yeah, and I ended up Googling her a couple of days later because Sean said, because she's a fair way away, I couldn't see, but Sean said, no, she's not bad looking, you know, and apparently she's pretty crazy. Like, she got caught outside a hotel room in London naked or something, or, you know, I think she likes the Charlie and that kind of stuff. And I thought I'll do a bit of, and I was doing a bit of research on her. I thought I might write her into one of the articles for Flack. But anyway, so, you know, you think she's a Stoke supporter. On her Wikipedia page, it says she follows Broth or someone. I don't know what was going on there. Anyway, so the only exciting thing was Sean Fallon coming out and flying the flag.
Yeah.
The songs that the Green Brigade are singing at the moment, as I said to you before when I just got back, they're going through this sort of 1990s dance, trance sort of inspiration, you know. Yeah. So they got the whole Zombieland thing going, which is funny. And so they had the big sign, the rebels have won, the war is over, and they were doing the Zombieland thing, and they were all doing the, you know. And obviously Discoland last season was a popular one. And the other one is the, no, is it 2 Unlimited or No Unlimited? That 90s dance band. Not a band, dance, whatever their outfit. And they did the no,
yep.
No, there's no Rangers. And they just go on singing it, and it really, you know, it's just got a good little, you know, it's fucking funny as well, you know. I love it. You can't say Stoke supporters don't have humour, you know. Yeah. Like, not only are they creative, but they're funny too, you know. And we pissing the Huns off like you wouldn't believe.
Oh.
And that's such a contrast. When I first arrived in Scotland, you did get a sense that something's, you know, when you come back into your house and you know it's been burgled, but you're not sure what's missing, but you know, something's missing. Something's missing here. Same as when I got to Glasgow, I thought, no, something's missing here. You can just tell, you know.
Half the city said.
Yeah. You didn't see as many Huns kicking around the streets like in the city centre and that wearing their jerseys and stuff. Heaps of Stoke supporters were, more than I normally think I see.
Yeah.
You
do feel, especially in like Glasgow, because I must admit, I've only been there twice, but every time I went there, the last 2 times I've been there, you do look at people and go, what do you reckon he is? And you kind of try to find things. So when you see somebody's supporter, you give them the nod.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny, we're in Helsinki. When we was walking around, every time you walk past a Tim, you go, oh yeah. Or you give him a nod. Or boys, lads, you know, constantly. Anyway,
we're a friendly bunch.
Well, maybe that's a good link onto. So the Aberdeen game. So we went out afterwards and we went down to Gallowgate. Well, first we went to McCool's, and got stuck into it there. Mm-hmm. And then we went up to Gallowgate. We went to bar. Is it Hoops Bar? Is it Hoops Bar on the corner?
I don't know.
What's the one with the really... Have you been to Hoops Bar?
No, I only went to...
Have you been to Bar 67?
No, I've only been to...
Bed.
And...
Haggis.
And... where did Garrett play out of?
The Brazen Head.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Hoops Bar. We went there and they had... there was a band playing there. I don't know who they were, but Sean knew who they were. They were pretty good. And then they started playing Pass the Parcel When Rangers Die, and actually had a parcel, and they were throwing it around the room, and when the band stopped, whoever had it in their hands got to take off a layer of wrapping, and then start again, Pass the Parcel. And people were just going fucking nuts in there. Like, it was great. And then we wandered down to... we went across to Beds. It was pretty dead in there, actually. In fact, it was quite empty. And then we went back across to a new bar that's opened up, which is called the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Well, I say it's new. I think it is new.
Yep.
I think it was another pub beforehand. I don't know what it was before. Maybe some of the listeners out there will know. But anyway, and it's now called the Phoenix. It seemed like a sort of an older pub, like old brick inside and stuff, and you know, dodgy carpet and stuff. And there was a band that was just sort of finishing up, and it looked like that had sort of gone off because it looked like a bomb had gone off. So it was just pint glasses fricking everywhere, you know. And it was the dregs were kind of hanging around. It was like 50 or 60 people standing there. And by the stage, Sean and I were pretty pissed. Some of the conversations we were having, those conversations were really drunk, and you got such determination in your face when you tell the stories. But there was a guy behind the bar who was a gay goth, Like he was a goth,
Right.
so he had the jet black hair and a big black earring in both ears. He was as gay as a row of tents, but he was a Fenian. Like the band's playing and he's singing along, but he's got that kind of that gay inflection in his voice, you know. I was trying to think what song it was he was doing, but I was pissed myself laughing. And he's pointing at people, and you know, he was great. He was great, though. I fucking loved him. In a platonic sense. Mm-hmm. Not that anything wrong with that. So that was good. And then after that, we went to, I needed food then, so we had chicken. No, we had some Mexican.
Oh.
Then we went to Fulcher, which Sean calls Fulcher, which is grammatically incorrect. There's a T, not an S. And we drank some drink in there it was Guinness and Coke and something else in it. No, it was really nice.
Like a meal.
Oh, it was beautiful. I loved it. I had like 4 or 5 of them, I think. I don't know. I could be making that up. And we met all these girls and some friends of Sean's, and then we ended up going to O'Neill's and just partying on. And by 3 o'clock, I was blonde. I was like, at one point I said to Sean, let's go. I've spoken to every single woman in this entire bar, and the well is dry. Pre wants to go home. Anyway, so we went home, and then on the Sunday, I can't believe I'm boring everyone with it. How long have we been doing this for? 40 minutes. So on the Sunday, fast forward if you're bored. On the Sunday, I said to Sean, I want to go visit all the football stadiums in the area of clubs that are now defunct, and I want to go check it out. And he said, that's a damn good idea. I said, we'll take photos and then we'll tweet them. So we went to go to Renton's home ground in Renton, which is sort of out past Dumbarton, so north of the Clyde, out past Clydebank, up past Dumbarton. And Sean had a fair idea where the ground was. And then we got there, and it was, like, the old terrace was sort of...
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the photos.
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But it's all kind of sort of run down now and stuff. But there's still, I think, a juniors play there. There's still nets up and stuff. And there's still a big fence around it as well, you know, so we went there and took a couple of photos. And then as we got out of it, we jumped on the net, and we actually discovered it actually wasn't Renton's home ground. Renton's home ground is now a car park. Oh, right. Yeah. That was Vale of Leven's home ground, who also do not exist anymore. Yeah. Vale of Leven and Renton are right next, 2 villages are upside each other. So after that, we left there, and then we went to Catkin Park in near Handon, literally near Handon, like sort of 500 metres from Handon. Now that was spooky because there's no fence around it, but the terraces are still there. Yeah. The stanchions, like the poles you'd hang on to, are still there, and they're freshly painted. But there are trees. There are trees growing all amongst it. Like there's a forest sort of in the main stand. Yeah. Like a genuinely tall frickin' pines, you know. And the pitch is still in good nick.
Yeah. So you can film plays there?
I think they, yeah. I reckon juniors would still probably play there. Yeah. But it was like a ghost town, a ghost football ground, and that's and that was the home ground for I got a mental block. Who the fuck was the home ground for? Catkin Park.
Not Rath Rovers.
No, Third Atlantic's home ground. And that was really good. It was a really eerie day. It was like a really misty kind of wet kind of day. And I remember Sean took a couple of photos of me standing on the terraces, and kind of you could just almost feel as if the ghosts of the players of Third Atlantic past were there, you know.
Well, then you went to a real ghost town.
Yeah, that's right. And then we went to visit the stadium called Ibrox Park, where this team called Rangers used to play. And we were a bit nervous, you know. I mean, I'd never been there before, and we got out and went to the gate.
Car running.
Car running, right. And I made sure I wore red, white, and blue for the day. Left my clattering in the car. So we got some photos at the front of that and had a bit of a laugh. It was good fun. The one we did miss was, and we should have done it, was Clydebank as well, Kilbowie Park, which I've been to. I went and saw Clydebank versus Johnson in a Skull Cup third round in 1986. Right. And the Skull Cup was the old League Cup. And that was my very first game of football I ever saw in Scotland. Right. And they don't exist anymore. And that now is a shopping centre. That's Clyde Shopping Centre got extended on, and it is now, that was Kilbowie Park. Yep. We didn't go there. It would have been good. Actually, no, sorry, it's not. It's an oldie. It's an oldie supermarket. God. Yeah.
The Germans.
It's the Germans. Anyway, so that was the Saturday. So let's fast forward. Wednesday night, Wednesday morning, went to Helsinki. Sean and I caught the charter flight, £333 for your ticket and your flight. Got up at 5, got up at 3, flew out at 5, landed at 10:30 their time. The bus took us to the stadium, which holds 10,000. It's next to the old Olympic Stadium where in Helsinki had the games in 52, I think.
Yep.
And went into town. And this time Sean and I said, we're not going to get mad with it. We're not going to get plastered like him and I did in Milan and like I did in Seville. Because when we've done that, we've lost.
Yep.
Like in Seville, my brother and I did not go into the chapel, into the cathedral there, which is, I've gone back to Seville and I've gone in there. It's a beautiful cathedral. We didn't go in there. In Milan, I didn't go into the cathedral there, one of the most famous Catholic cathedrals in the world, and I drank on the steps of the cathedral.
And smoking Mary Jane as well.
That's right. Well, I wasn't, but people around me sort of smoking the chronic. And so I said, let's do the opposite. Let's get culture into us.
Yeah.
Let's ingratiate ourselves with the locals. Let's stay off the lagers until, a reasonable hour. So we did do that. But we were absolutely, by lunchtime, I was knackered. We went to visit the church. It was a Lutheran church on top of a hill. And Sean asked us, what denomination is this? I don't know, I think it's Nordic Hun. And I'm basically repeating the articles now, aren't I? And then we just sort of wandered around town. We ran into some Irish guys.
Yeah.
A guy from Belfast, a guy from Donegal, and a guy from Dublin. And they were old bastards. And they were full of crack. And you're sort of thinking, no, you guys are full of shit. But they're going like, we had deal with Neil Lennon last night, and he's bitching and moaning that he's not getting money from Law for buying new players. Like, they're not going to sign new players.
Right.
And I was thinking, you're full of shit. But then, I don't know, something gave it away. One thing gave it away. One of them had a very young girlfriend. It was quite good looking. So I thought,
3 rich boys.
yeah, you got some cash. And they're all bastards as well. And they're all taking the piss out of each other. Oh, go and get fucked. Fucking Dublin's not Ireland, Donegal, that's fucking Ireland. Donegal, fuck you. That's my pathetic Irish accent. And the other one was that, and that's the thing, they're just dropping like their names, name dropping like we wouldn't believe. I own 10 hotels in Dublin, Like, oh, fucking hell. Anyway, so I think they could have been legit, but they travelled from Dublin to Helsinki, so I guess they had a bit of, Anyway, so that was that, and then we went to the Modern Malones, which is, I think that's basically where the entire flight was. The charter flight, all the guys we saw on the plane, and I mentioned this in the article, there's a bloke there that on the plane went to the toilet, and before he went to the toilet, in his hand was literally a massive handful of pills. And Sean said, check out that guy's bloody pills in his hands. Fucking hell. Like, this guy's obviously scared of flying, or he's got some other problems. So we called him Pills from that on. And he had a distinctive kind of really ugly kind of test pattern business shirt on, And then we saw him a bit later on at Molly Malone's, and he was starting to get, he was out the back, and he was sort of having a couple of pints. It was a bit more louder, a bit more vivacious and stuff. And we were sitting inside, and I actually did the noddies. Like, I started to fall asleep. And Sean said, no, we're going to do something here, otherwise we're going to fucking fall asleep. So we went back into the front bar and got a couple of pints. We were drinking beer anyway, but got a couple of pints. I thought about getting Jaeger bombs. That's where I thought, I need to step this up, otherwise I'm going to be passed out. I'm not even drinking, And we went, and then the band, there's like 5 or 6 Irish guys who were locals, who had all sort of got together for the day because they knew that all the teams were coming, and they'd sort of had a bit of a traditional trad sesh, But it was kind of, it was just all very nice, kind of melodic.
You don't want that bullshit.
Which is fine. It's great music, but it was putting me to sleep, And then one of the guys in the crowd, one of the sales supporters on the flight, gets up and says, can I borrow the guitar? And he goes, yeah, sure, go for it. And then he just starts playing, like, Let the People Sing, Willie and Danny, that Viva La Quinta Brigada, and all his mates, they were good singers as well, and they were the ones leading it all, And all of a sudden, this place just turned around. I woke up, Sean woke up, we're starting to sing, more pints, It was brilliant. And then another guy got up, said, can I have a go? So he starts playing some stuff as well. And he was playing some Rebel songs, he was playing some non-Rebel, so some sort of traditional Irish music, but had a bit of a kick to it, And it was fantastic. And that woke me up. Pills came out the front, he was belting them out, he was well on his way by this stage. And then, we were one of the last to leave. And then we headed up to the stadium, and we basically walked in like 4 minutes before the teams walked out.
Right.
And one guy, and when we took our seat, one guy fought. When we got there, he was already sitting on his ass in the aisle. He'd fallen over. And I think he was pissed.
Yeah.
But it was an older bloke, like he would have been in his late 50s, and he had serious claret running out the back of his head. And for the whole first half, the stewards and the first aid guys tried to deal with him. Like he was trying to light up halfway through. He was like going, he was saying, well, I'm fucking wrecked. So I'm just going to have a fucking cigarette. And the guys go, you can't smoke. And the Celtic officials were with him, trying to look after him and stuff. Yeah. Whilst the dickhead, I mean, I don't mean to get stuck into the first aid people because they're volunteers, but they patched him up with, just like a gauze, and that was it. And that 5 minutes later, the back of his head is like Niagara Falls, And then, so they come back and then they try to wrap his head up, and they only did like a 4 ring job. That wasn't enough. Next minute, he's starting to look like the fucking Elephant Man, There's claret everywhere. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. And even one guy beside me who was blind, he's saying to the Swedish guy, or the Finnish guy, hospital! You need to take him to hospital! You understand hospital! And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, the Finnish guy's English is better than yours, so why do you have to say it that way? Just say, take him to hospital. But anyway, but the guy was going, ooh, yeah. Eventually he went, half time he was out of there. Right. So, yeah, that was sort of... The atmosphere in that game was brilliant. I mean, you cannot beat the away games. Mm. They're just great. And European away games...
And your first ever stadium huddle as
well. I was rapt about that. When the second goal went in, The first goal went in, I just remember, because I was standing on the aisle, and about 15, 20 people ran down towards where Joe Ledley was, which is pretty much in front of us. Mm-hmm. And I had this moment of clarity where I went, hang on a minute, I've always watched those games where all the Tims run down the aisle and just get... Pardon me, and just get crazy. I always wanted to do that. And I went, hang on a minute, I can do that. I'm right here, right now.
Yeah.
And I just fucking ran down those stairs, and Sean's come freaking right behind me. I think I poked some guy in the fucking eye. I literally felt...
So eye.
I felt eye on my finger. And we just went crazy. It was brilliant. And then, the singing after that was just fantastic. And then the second goal, I just looked at Sean, I just pointed down there as we ran back down there again. And one of the Celtic stewards is big unit of a bloke, big bald bloke with big goatee and stuff, lovely guy. He was sort of standing at the bottom of our aisle, sort of holding everyone back, like he was a man mountain, and he was holding like 30 Celtic supporters back from not falling onto the pitch. I was rubbing his head, going, yeah! It was great. I loved it. And then and then we went back up, and that's when the song started,
Yep.
This is the day that we won away. And I loved that. And we sang it like 40 times. And you really clap. The clappers are hard, but hands that were peeling just basically exploded. I looked like I had leprosy. So the game ended, and it was all fantastic, and, jumped on the back on the boat, jumped on, walked out of the stadium. It was still daylight. That's what I was impressed about. Like 10:15 at night, and it was still daylight. The sun was just setting, and got back on the plane. And I always wonder what other fans from other teams must think when they see however many Celtic supporters. In this case it was probably 600, all just turn their backs on the game and just start bouncing up and down doing the huddle. Great. I looked across to the seats across the way because we were in that corner section.
Yep.
At all the Helsinki fans there when we were sort of really, carrying on. And a lot of them weren't even watching the game. They were just watching us. And look of bewilderment. It was great.
That was good.
It was a great atmosphere. Mark it down as one of the best Celtic occasions that I've ever been involved in.
Well, one many times I've won.
Well, that's such a rare thing, isn't it? Well, not anymore. Not anymore. 4 in a row.
Fuck you, Scottish media.
God damn it. So that was that. And then, Philly. So then I flew. So I flown home, landed we did a huddle on the plane, by the way, and there was an Italian flight crew, and they had no idea what was going on.
I think some terrorists was going
on. Oh, God, yeah. So we landed at 1 o'clock. The team landed at the same time, and then, I've gone to bed, woke up 3 hours later, back to the airport, flight to New York, train to Philly, get to Philly. Friday night, go to Charlie and the Boys, meet Graham Wilson and all the boys from the Beyond the Waves podcast, and Seamus from Over and Over. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Graham didn't know what I looked like, but I'd seen photos of Graham on his personal Twitter.
Yep.
And I remember looking at it going, I need to remember that face because when I go, I want to, I'm not. I can always, I could always tweet and say, hey, I'm here, but I didn't have a phone with me, so I was sort of I could only do it when I was at a hotel or whatever, you know. But I saw him when I went to the Play on Stars where Charlie and the boys were playing. I saw him and I went, I reckon that's him. I walk up and I said, hey, is your name Graham? He goes, yeah. He was pretty pissed by the stage. I said, I'm Prefontaine. He goes, oh, Jesus Christ, man. And I met all the boys there and I sat out the corner and we got stuck into it and just had spelled out the Rhebel songs and stuff, and it was a really good night. Great warm up for the game for the next day. At one stage, this big blue coffin comes in, which is funny, you know. It kind of pissed off Charlie and the boys because they were ready. This is what I did like. They were ready to start singing another song or start singing the next set, and the blue coffin came in, and everyone started singing, you know, having a party when the Rangers die and all that stuff. And the Huns are going bust. They need to change that so it's past tense, I think, you know. The Huns have gone bust. Yeah, the Huns have gone bust. And so he started playing that as well, you know, which is cool. And then they started singing, like, you know, Pass the Pass or Rangers Die, Doing the Huddle or Rangers Die, Pin the Towel or the Rangers Die, all the different you know, versions. But he was Charlie, whatever his real name is, was cracking the shit, so I could tell. He wanted to start playing his set. But the fans just started singing some other random song that was completely nothing to do with that. To which he was like, I want to start playing it. But it was so loud that I think he realised that the fans in there were, and look, I'd say the majority of them were Americans, or Canadians, or North Americans. And that's what really impressed me, was the depth that the support has on that continent. I mean, there was heaps of, you know, Scots and Irish voices you heard in there. But
which made to Australia, where it's just pretty much just Scots and Irish.
Yeah.
And the very occasional Australian supporter.
Which is basically our family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think about it?
No, I know.
Like, you took...
and a couple of your mates.
Yeah, you took our crew out of there, then... Oh, shit, that'd be fuck all. Anyway. So eventually Charlie just started playing a song over the top of everyone, and I kind of thought, you know...
Yeah.
Oh, look, I love Charlie and the boys. I've seen them so many times now. They're great. But they're a bit tame for me now. Like, I want to bloody get Erolga or, you know, there's got to be some other new bands. Shabeen.
Say IRA in the middle of songs.
I know. Like, he is mad.
Oh.
In a good way.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking, though? Yeah. I'm completely changing tack for the minute.
Sorry.
That's right.
I've been blethering a lot, so you...
That's right. I was just reading this thing. I saw... Now, the game last night, this morning, we had Tony Hamilton there, and we had Laura Brennan, they're from both the Celtic media team.
Yep.
And yet we don't have a full-time doctor.
For the Philly game?
Yeah. We don't have a full-time doctor at all. We don't have a full-time doctor.
At all?
We have a physio.
Right.
And I know people made a point about this, but that is an interesting point, that we've got two guys. I know they do a chartered plane, but we've got two media guys.
Yeah.
Plus Celtic TV. There was another guy, a cameraman there.
Yeah.
Plus probably a sound guy.
No, there wasn't a cameraman for the...
No, they were doing just for Celtic TV.
Oh, pre-stuff, right. Yeah.
That's an interesting point, I reckon.
Yeah.
Considering that... So, you know, the assets of Celtic Football Club are its players, and are a considerable amount of money.
Yeah.
You think they would, you know, want to protect their assets. Yeah. And by not having a doctor, you know, they spend all this money on Lennoxtown and all their facilities and stuff. They don't have that. I mean, go back to Australian football for the minute, Aussie rules. Yeah. We have, you know, 2 or 3 doctors.
Yeah. And American football, American
football, they've got bloody...
they've got more doctors than players.
They've got MRI machines in the stadiums.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean... You know, it's really not. Yeah, that's not good enough.
But I know. I often think that in the UK, and I don't, you know, mean to sound condescending here, but sometimes I've thought that in the UK sports science isn't as...
No, it's not.
Certainly with football. I mean, obviously it is in other areas because, well, for example, Team GB sort of, you know, did exceptionally well because they started to get things right. But and that's without going off the topic too much, but that's essentially what has happened in the last sort of 10, 15 years is all the world's come to Australia, found out what we're doing, copied it and made it better. Yeah. And we now need to fix it. But for some reason in football, that's just completely passed over.
It's nuts. And there's a number of teams in the EPL where they don't have full-time doctors, like really big teams. Yeah. And there's no such thing as a full-time doctor. I can't believe they... You know, it's something that's such a critical component of recovery. It does everything. Yeah. Preparation, recovery, getting them back on the field, making sure they're alright to keep playing.
I mean, they've come a long way. I know they've got nutritionists now, and I know that they tell the players what they should and shouldn't be eating as opposed to what they used to eat, which is just bloody pies and bovril. Yeah. And yeah, so it has advanced, but the fact that we didn't have a doctor, and it was obviously the glaring what do we say? Well, it really
incident.
Sorry, it was exposed when Dylan McGeoch,
Yeah.
injured himself.
Mm. And we were lucky that Real Madrid, they had doctors there.
Yeah.
Because all we had was a physio.
I know. I mean, what's the physio going to do? Adjust him? I mean,
Yeah.
it's bullshit. Yeah. So anyway,
We had fun in Philly.
yeah. So Philly was great. So the next day went to Fado, which is a pub, another Irish pub in town, and sort of had a couple of beers and caught a taxi with Graham and his lovely wife to the stadium, which is a great setup there. It's basically all of Philly's major four sporting teams all play in this one big park in South Philly. So the Phillies baseball team's stadium is right next to the football stadium where the game was, which is right next to the Wells Fargo Stadium where the Sixers and the Flyers play. So it's just
Good setup.
great setup, and it was really good just walking through with Graham because he just knew a lot of people, and we met up all the Celtic supporters were hanging out behind the stadium. About 4 or 5 buses had all been parked in a row where a lot of the New York boys from the different supporters clubs. There's a fair few supporters clubs up there that are all driven down. There's Manhattan, Bronx, Woodside. I think I'm getting these names wrong, I'm sure. And I met a couple of those guys, the guys that do the Mets Boys podcast. They're good value. And there was a guy, like there was a musician there who was all mic'd up playing Rhebel songs and stuff, and the Blue Coffin was there, which is now getting a bit of a battering. And people were fucking blind, and it was a carnival, It was a carnival, it was a Celtic festival.
Celebration of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Celtic.
Yeah, and it was just a great mix of people of different diverse backgrounds. I sort of wrote in the article on the Flack today, there was Celtic supporters there that weren't just from Irish or Celtic backgrounds. There was African Americans, and there was also a couple of Indian or Pakistani blokes, and a couple of Asian guys, and and men, women, and it was just it's exactly what the club was meant to be. And what I thought about was if you did this, you picked this up and plonked this in the middle of Glasgow, you couldn't do this.
No.
Because you're not allowed to express your Irish heritage,
no, especially if you're white.
Yeah. So it was a great sort of precursor to the game. The game itself was rubbish. You saw it. Yeah. It's pish. But as I said, friendlies are crap anyway. We're just there for the party, and we had a great time. Most of the fans there were in Real Madrid jerseys, but they weren't Real Madrid fans. They were all Ronaldo fans or whatever. Which is just every time we touch the ball, they went nuts. Other than that, they weren't even paying attention. And I know that some of the Celtics, in terms of the atmosphere of the Celtics support, it wasn't brilliant. I mean, you and I went to Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, and Sydney. And when you get a whole bunch of new people together,
it's hard to get it going.
It's hard to get it going, but near us, I think there were guys, like the Boston supporters were right in front of us. The Bronx guys were to my right. And they were getting it going, but I understand that a lot of the other guys from the other New York clubs are kind of spread out and they're away from those guys. But they thought if they'd all kind of got together, they themselves would have been enough. That would have been 100, 150 blokes, and that would have been a good pack to sort of, because other fans will start singing once they hear other people singing, you know. And look, there was some good atmosphere there. There was some good songs that got going and stuff, but it's hard work.
It's more about before the game and after the game anyway.
Oh yeah, exactly. So then after that we went back to Fado, and then I was privileged enough to be on the Beyond the Waves podcast, one of our brother podcasts, part of the How media group, which was tough work because the pub was rammed and it was freaking loud, and I was really trying to hear what Graham was saying, was asking questions. And at the start, it was mic'd up through the entire pub. Oh, God, I felt like an absolute prick. I'm going, oh, my God, people are listening to my fucking voice while they're trying to have a beer, But the band was going to start, so they pulled the mic, so it was just basically like what you and I are doing now. And Phil McGillivan, the writer, the blogger, was also on the show.
Yep. Didn't have a lot to say.
Huh?
Did he have a lot to say?
He did have a lot to say. Didn't necessarily agree with everything he had to say.
No. It is... Look, Folk supporters are good at that.
Absolutely.
We need our own validation more than anyone else. Folk supporters need that. That's why we do this. That's why we do this podcast.
That's exactly right.
Because we're better than everyone else.
That's right.
Because we take time out of our Wednesdays to do this.
Indeed.
For you to listen.
Well, it was nice of Phil to, when he wasn't being asked a question, just to sit there and look at his phone and go through Twitter. I'm glad he engaged in the whole process. It was fantastic. And then after that, I met a family. I met a lot of people, but I met a family from Glasgow who had come out from the trip. there was a lovely story actually. So it's a mother and a daughter. The mother's English. The daughter is Scots. She was born in Scotland. She's got pure posh Scottish accent, and the mother's got an English accent. They don't miss a game.
Yep.
They're diehard Tims. You know, God love them. And they sit next to, this is years ago, not anymore. They used to sit next to a guy called, I won't say his name, so I'll just call him Jeff. They sit next to a guy called Jeff, and I think he might have been married, but he's not anymore, I think. And she obviously was married, no doubt, because she's got a daughter. And the daughter said, "Why don't you two go out on a date?" Yeah. And this is what she's like, you know.
Was she hot?
The mother?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was, well, you know, I don't know how old she was, but she was looked after herself, absolutely. Yeah. And so the daughter kind of shamed him into going out on a date, and they're still seeing each other today.
Get on.
Yeah, and Jeff, he's a diehard Tim. He was there in the days of the jungle and stuff. But he's one of the classic sort of bitter, cynical, and admitted it as well. I'm not being cynical, but PLO's a prick, you know. Yeah, hate that. Best club in the world, though, by the way. You know, exactly that kind of stuff. And I loved him, you know. Yeah. Turns out, though, I found out later on Twitter, because I've been tweeting with the daughter.
How old's the daughter?
He thought, she's finished uni. He thought I was gay.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the Yellow's have always got that, so sorry about that.
Fair play. So, he wouldn't have thought he was going to try to hit on his girlfriend.
Should hit on the daughter.
Should have hit on the daughter. Oh no, I wouldn't. She scared me because she literally gave me the Spanish Inquisition. She sat there and fired off 50 questions at me. And what did you know? And what do you mean? But she was great value. They're all great value. And I had a good night. I sat down a couple of pints with them, and it was good. And I just thought this is the great about Celtic support is that here's a whole bunch of people from kind of different backgrounds, all just met for the first time 20 minutes ago, and all having a good old chat. It's a Celtic family. That's what it's all about.
You feel at home.
Oh, absolutely. And can I just say to Seamus and Graham and Jim and all the boys that I met from Philly and surrounding areas, it was just really brilliant to meet you blokes. Had a great time. They made Philly for me. It was a great experience, and I would seriously consider doing the Vegas convention because
is that next year?
It's on. I think is it every year?
Yeah, they swap Vegas and another.
And it normally goes Vegas and San Fran. I think is what happens. Yeah. I could be wrong about that. Yeah, I don't know where it is this year, but it'll be
in Vegas.
It'll be next. So it'll be next year. Sorry, it'll be next off season.
Yeah,
yeah. It was a great experience. So sad to leave, but had to come to an end.
Your trust fund ended.
My trust fund, it was a bit dry. Needed to get someone to top it up for me. Anyway, so look, and I just crapped on a lot about my trip there, but if you actually want to bother reading it, go to the FLAC. I've written 3 articles there called Hopelessly Devoted to Celtic, Part 1, 2 and 3. So the FLAC, which is our website. Anyway, so that's the story. Let's perhaps wrap it up.
Indeed.
I think I've talked a lot of rubbish tonight.
That was good.
So we've got Inverness this weekend, and then we've got Helsingborg return on the Wednesday night, isn't it?
And then,
Right.
And then the Thursday, the draw.
Oh, the Thursday, the draw. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe we might do no, we won't, because I was saying we could do a podcast after the draw, but I don't know if we can manage that.
We can do it Friday. We post that off air.
We can talk about that off air. Although, I listened to the Mets boys ones the other day, and they organise everything in advance online. So when we do the next one, does that sound alright? Next Sunday? Yeah, that sounds alright.
We could do like a live podcast of the draw.
Yeah, we could do that. That's right.
As it's coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Who's Arpia Leica? So don't forget you can subscribe to the Rhebel Podcast by going to the iTunes store. And it's also up on Spreaker. Well, when I say that, I don't actually do that. We get one of the other boys to do that. I must learn how to do that.
Yeah, you should.
I know. And
I could, but
you could do that too. How about you learn how to do that? Because I do everything else.
I did this whole rundown sheet today.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. The title.
Lovely.
Title heading.
Lovely. And obviously you can follow Callum on Twitter, which is Donald67. You can follow myself on Twitter, which is Prefontaine67.
And all the openings as well, I do.
Yeah. And you do the opening, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I want 181 followers. Let's get to 200.
Okay, do it. And we'll also follow us, our website, which is I write sort of every kind of 2 or 3 weeks about Celtic on the website that I write for, which is called The Flack. So it's www.the-flack.com. It's been real. It's been brilliant. I'm so glad we've got a away win against Helsingborg and
Had a smile on my face all day.
Indeed, and let's press it home and get to the Champions League draw so we can hit that music a lot more this coming months.
See you then.
Cheers.
Before I saw the light of morning, a comradeship of heroes was laid. From every corner of the world came sailing the 5th International Brigade. They came to stand beside the Spanish people to try and stem the rising fascist tide. Franco's allies were the powerful and wealthy. Frank Ryan's men came from the other side. Even the olives were bleeding as the battle for Madrid it thundered on. Truth and love against the force of evil. Brotherhood against the fascist clan. Viva la Quinta Brigada, the passer and the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around the hillside. Let us all remember them tonight. Bob Hilliard was a Church of Ireland pastor. From Killarney across the Pyrenees he came. From Derry came a brave young Christian brother. Side by side they fought and died in Spain. Tommy Woods, age 17, died in Cordoba. With the Vienna he learned to hold his gun. From Dublin to the P at El Grillo, where he fought and died beneath the blazing sun. Viva la Quinta Brigada, the passer and the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around the hillside. Let us all remember them tonight. Many Irishmen heard the call of Franco, joined Hitler and Mussolini too. Propaganda from the pulpit and the newspapers have told Duffy to enlist his crew. The word came from an oath, support the Nazi. The men of Claude failed again. But when the bishops blessed the blue shirts in Dunleary, as they sailed beneath the swastika to Spain. Viva la Quinta Brigada, the passer and the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around the hillside. Let us all remember them tonight. This song is a tribute to Frank Ryan, Kit Conway and Dinny Cody too. Peter Daly, Charlie Reagan and Hugh Bonner. The many died, I can but name a few. Danny Boyle, Blazer Brown and Charlie Donnelly. Liam Thomashill and Jim Straney from the Falls. Jack Nanty, Tommy Patton and Frank Conroy. Jim Foley, Tony Fox and Dick O'Neill. Viva la Quinta Brigada, the passer and the pledge that made them fight. Adelante is the cry around the hillside.